Trey Lance won't get a fair shake in San Francisco. I don't think that'll ever happen. We really need to see this kid get traded out of San Francisco if we want to ever see him play football. Report out today talking about how Brock Purdy's likely the starter, according to Matt Maiocco, who is a big time, one of the bigger Niner reporters out there, saying it's Brock Purdy's team. Not only is it Brock Purdy's locker room, but Brock Purdy is likely to start week 1. We're breaking that down. We're breaking down whether that even seems feasible, to be honest, and what the Niners should do with Trey Lance, and will they even do it? Will they just hold on to him and have him waste away? We'll break it all down and more. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
FantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live!
Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
So, more Trey Lance news, Brock Purdy news. I mean, it seems like we're here every week talking about this, but there's so many fantasy football monsters on this Niner squad. It's a topic that needs to be talked about whenever it comes up because, I mean, frankly, it affects a lot of fantasy football players. So we're here to break it down. First of all, appreciate every single one of you that have walked into this building. Punch that thumb up button. This is not the 7 p.m. show. We're here a little early to break this down on a piece of breaking news that it's definitely not it hasn't broken like the last hour or something, but I want to come on and address it, get a compartmentalized video on it so we could talk about this specific topic, you know, and then break down all the different angles. But according to Matt Maiocco, and this comes from NBC Sports, this comes from our boy Raj, RSF 49ers. Let's read his report first. Let's read Raj's. It says the Niners reportedly believe Brock Purdy will be fully cleared to play around August 21st and is expected to start week 1 after making a full recovery, per Matt Maiocco. Look, I don't know how. I mean, this surgery is different than a Tommy John surgery, but you gotta ask yourself, what are you doing with Trey Lance? What are you doing with Trey Lance? Why you don't believe in him at all? You don't believe in him enough to even anoint him the number 2 quarterback. You bring in Sam Darnold and you announce right away you're going to split first team reps between Sam Darnold and Trey Lance. Why not trade him? Why not trade him away? If you are worried about sending him somewhere else and he's going to thrive in that other location, then you believe in him. You clearly don't believe in him, so you don't believe he can thrive. You brought in Sam Darnold, no, not just for backup reasons, maybe partly because the quarterback room hasn't been able to stay healthy, but I don't really understand why on earth you wouldn't trade Trey Lance away to a QB needy team, get something to help protect Brock Purdy, get something to help protect, get not only draft capital, and you could have maybe done that, but draft capital for the future too if you want, but protect Brock Purdy, protect Sam Darnold if that's the guy you want back there if Brock's not back there. But holding on to this value you gave up 3 first-rounders for, and you never even gave him a chance. It's a failure to not at least get rid of him. And if you're going to go in a different direction, you got a diamond in the rough. You didn't see it coming. Nobody thought it was going to turn out this way. Brock Purdy rised up, and you're just going to roll with him. You got to get rid of that other player. You have 3 first-rounders tied into this. At least go get something and trade him to a team that's QB needy that might overpay right now. It's a shame too. Part of me is just, I feel bad for Trey Lance. He's never been given a fair shot. And it's absolutely depressing to see this kid's career just sit there on the back burner constantly. And Brock Purdy, let me tell you this. Two things I'm going to say about Brock Purdy. Number one, Brock Purdy was absolutely phenomenal when he came in, totally prepared, gets shoved right into the lineup, is just unbelievable with pressure, Unbelievable with pressure, like mentally, but also like when a line is collapsing on him and he knows how to dance around. His preparedness to walk in and start was, I've never seen it before. Like he was amazing. But do I think people are putting the cart before the horse in terms of calling him this superstar, this guy that can lead a team to a Super Bowl? Look, this defense is so good. The offensive weaponry is so good. Do I think Brock Purdy could win a Super Bowl in San Francisco? I think the answer is yes. If he stays healthy, he could do what he did last year. Even if he's learning, still making mistakes or whatever. Like, he started to show signs of potentially not, I don't want to say the word unravel, but he started to show signs of maybe getting figured out a little bit. Maybe defenses were like, okay, this is, we've watched a lot of film on him. We're a little bit more prepared. And you started seeing more mistakes, some bad passes thrown by Brock. And right up to the end there, you started to get the sense, could he potentially not be as far along as we thought? He just was kind of like, not skating by, because he was so prepared. And I want to give him his props and credit and flowers. But I think that everybody, and this might be why Shanahan wants to keep Trey, but at the same time, he doesn't believe in Trey enough to anoint him the number 2 quarterback. He doesn't even believe in him enough to allow him to have confidence at all. And so that's why anytime somebody says they want to keep all their options open, that's why they're holding on to all 3 quarterbacks. I get that, but you clearly don't believe in Trey Lance. You clearly don't. Even if you had to turn to Trey Lance, you don't believe in him. So why not get rid of him? Why not let him go, let him fly?
You raise me up so I can stand on mountains.
Let him go somewhere else. Let him go somewhere else and try to develop, because the kid is going to have cobwebs all over him by the time he's ever used. And honestly, I wouldn't even blame him if he walked out there and crapped the bed a year from now in this situation, because it's been too long. It's been too long. So back to what I was saying. I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way. I still feel like his story is still to be told. He can still improve. That was his rookie year. We can't judge him too harshly. If we can't judge Ritter too harshly, we can't judge Purdy too harshly. If we can't judge Jalen Hurts too harshly before he was able to do anything, we can't judge Purdy too harshly. Okay, so everybody needs to understand the game we're playing here. It's got to be even. You can't look at one approach very biasly and then look at the other approach differently. You gotta apply the same logic, and it's the same game. So Brock Purdy still gets a chance to learn a lot. PJ says, Smitty, you taking Lamar over Justin Fields this year? Where have you been, PJ? This must be your first show in a long time. This must be your first show in a very long time, PJ. The answer is Justin Fields. I feel like my only concern and a piece of caution is that this kid might not be who everybody thinks he is yet. He could get there, but I think we started to see him look human, because at first he wasn't. He was supported by this amazing defense and offense, and everything was clicking. His preparedness put him in an amazing position. I just don't know. I don't know that he's going to be an elite quarterback in the National Football League. That's just my opinion watching him play. His arm is not amazing. It's good. He doesn't have a cannon. He's got great mental ability to break down the game. Good pocket presence. Again, preparedness and drive to get that prepared. You can't teach that. So those things, he has a huge advantage. I don't know that he's elite. I think he's probably going to be good enough in this offense with this defense to march this team into a potential NFC championship game. And then from there, we'll see what happens. But I'm not predicting anything past that, because I think the Eagles are the top dog. Like they've got a fast pass right into Disneyland. They're going straight to the big dance, in my opinion. But this is a situation where Brock Purdy, I understand why they would turn to him. I do. But you got to ask yourself this question. And we don't even know for sure Shanahan's going to start him in week 1. This is Matt Maiocco talking about it. But if they do start him early on, like they start him in week 1, let's say, is that enough time? I mean, his surgery, to my knowledge, is still very kind of unknown. It's kind of uncharted territory. You have a handful of quarterbacks that have had this surgery, one of them being CJ Mullins, I believe. His particular surgery wasn't Tommy John's, which I believe, based on what I've heard, Tommy John's was the way to go. Maybe this choice here was a workaround to get back on the field quicker, but will it be stronger? Will his arm be stronger like Tommy John's would leave it? Tommy John's surgery would make his arm stronger at the end of the day, but it would take him out for a whole year. Was this done to get him on the field quicker? And this coach, Kyle Shanahan, who I'm always super critical of, great offensive coordinator, great scheme guy, a savant when it comes to, masterminding an offense, and his coaching trees are amazing because of that, and people learn very, very well underneath him. I get all that. Those are all amazing qualities, but he is a personnel nightmare when it comes to deciding what quarterback to start, what quarterback to bring in, how to handle offseason situations, Deebo Samuel situation, the entire offseason, Jimmy G situation. You can't bring me very many positive offseason situations that are even, you can't even bring them. There's nothing but negativity and negative coaching decisions in the offseason in terms of personnel, just across the board. Everything this guy's done has been a disaster in the offseason. Now, that doesn't mean he's not a good offensive coordinator. Doesn't mean his offenses aren't so good that you end up saying, well, he's a good coach. Maybe you feel that way. Maybe you feel he's a good coach. What I'll say is he's botching all of these situations. And this kid, Trey Lance, I don't think he'd have the confidence at this point to even step in and do well. I don't. I think he's got to get out of Dodge and try and find himself a new situation. I don't know how he could survive. I don't know how he could possibly feel he's worthy of being in the lineup at this point, because he can't even get his coach to say he's better than Sam Darnold. And so back to what I was saying about Shanahan and decision making, it's like he sent this kid out onto the field with a complete torn UCL, and we knew it was pretty much done for, donezo, complete tear. Maybe it was hanging on by a thread. And so much so, he comes out of the game. You send your third string quarterback in, he gets injured. He doesn't, well, at that time, third string quarterback, concussion. Guess what? Instead of going with your emergency quarterback, Juice, who was supposed to go in and throw footballs, you toss back in the guy with the completely torn UCL. You make him throw passes on the sideline. I'm sure he wanted to go in, but you got to protect the player. The player's worried about his job. The player's always going to go back in. A player that gets concussed would go back in if you let him. A la the situation in Miami with Tua Tagovailoa. Going back onto the field, people trying to blame Tua. The player's always going to want to fight for his team and go back in. You got to protect the player. So what does Shanahan do? Shoves him back onto the field after he completely tore his UCL. Enough of a worry and concern that it was torn to take him off the field. And then he has such inflammation. They shove him back on the field. He has such inflammation because he plays through it that he can't even have surgery for over a month. I just think rushing this guy back onto the field in week one, I know you're going to say, oh, the doctors are going to approve it and it's going to be medically cleared. Oh, yeah? The same doctors and the same decision makers that sent him back onto the field with a completely torn UCL, those doctors, those trainers, that medical staff is the medical staff you're going to throw at me and say they wouldn't send him out there in week one if he wasn't ready, Smitty. Really? This guy couldn't have surgery for over a month because his elbow was too inflamed because his head coach sent him back onto the field to play football with a completely torn UCL. Where's Trey Lance going to go? Will he go anywhere at all? I don't know. I hope he can. I hope he can.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Super chats are on hold here for a second till they've been on hold while I was finishing that rant. Rockout says Shanahan is the master of botching everything, says Rockout. Thomas says, I can tell I can call in for for Dynasty when you're done. Sure, Thomas. The phone line's open. Dial in. I appreciate everybody being here. First in the building was Steve-O. Appreciate you. Peanut Butter and Waivers. Thomas, Tristan, D-Class, B-Man, DJ. Appreciate you all filing in. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. 49er Minded says give Trey Lance a chance. And, bro, I agree with you. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen. Not only that, Minded, but you literally have this coach, this situation and coach. It's not just the coach. He's not the only one to blame. John's to blame too. And I like what John's been doing lately. I really love this McCaffrey move. Obviously, everyone does. It saved Shanahan's job, and people are like laugh at that. They'll laugh at that. They say, "You kidding me? You kidding me? This guy was almost coach of the year. You're telling me his job was on the line?" If Christian McCaffrey was not acquired, the Niners wouldn't have made the playoffs, and you bet your bottom dollar people would be calling for his head. That half the Niner community calls for his head already. It's unbelievable, the people that act like there's nothing wrong in San Francisco ever. It's all perfect. It's butterflies and doves and flowers all the time. Brock Purdy, solid QB2. I mean, in fantasy, bro, I sure. As a backup quarterback, sure. Is he a starting fantasy football quarterback? We don't even know what it's going to look like, bro. We don't even know if he's going to be fully ready for week 1 or if this is a bunch of early, pulling the trigger early type content. That Matt Mayoko is throwing out there, and he's just trying to get a big story. I don't know. I don't know how much of it's true. None of us really know. All we know is that we're back in the same boat we are every single year in San Francisco, where not only do they not know what the quarterback's going to be, and they have the most talented roster in the National Football League. There's nobody from top to bottom that has a better roster. Not even the Eagles. The Eagles are close. But not even the Eagles have a better roster from top to bottom than the San Francisco 49ers. Number 1 defense probably in the NFL. You could say the Jets are going to really, potentially, create something that's as special. Number 1 defense in the NFL, San Francisco. Number 1 offense in terms of wide receivers, in terms of the tight end situation that you forget's even there when they don't have a Brock Purdy under center. When Jimmy G's there, the tight end's gone. The tight end's dormant. They don't even use the tight end when there's a quarterback like that under center, which I partly feel like that's how Kittle would be if Trey was under center, because I feel that Shanahan will use Trey Lance based on his own verbiage. He'll use Trey Lance much like he used Jimmy G in some ways. He's a running quarterback. He called him a dual threat. Brock Purdy's his pocket passer. He called Trey Lance a dual threat, different quarterback than Brock Purdy. Yet, Trey's never been able to prove he's got a cannon and can be a pocket passer. Like, I don't even understand why you would approach these two quarterbacks different. Brock is a great scrambler, and Trey's a great scrambler, but both of them can throw the football. Why is Trey not given a chance to throw the football? Why isn't Trey even given a chance to go out there in the offseason as the presumed starter? We got Scuba Steve on the phone.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's up, Scuba?
No, just want to call in and talk about the whole Trey Lance stuff. I was catching in just in time on what you're saying, and yeah, I don't know like you if the guy's gonna get traded, but I mean at this point, if they're trying to rush whoever the decision maker is that wants to try to throw Brock Purdy back in there, even though like the reports beginning of the year were saying that it's gonna take like this guy a while to come back. If they're trying to throw this guy out there, that must mean that like whoever it is doesn't have faith in Trey Lance. Especially like what you're saying is that there was like some beat reporters that were saying that Sam Darnold looked like one of the best throwers that they had in a while. So I mean, if they're off on this guy, they should just try to get rid of him. But I also feel like too is like yeah, like we're talking about like yeah, maybe they could get rid of the guy. Doesn't really help like his trade value, like the way that they've been treating the guy.
Exactly.
So I don't really know like what they're gonna get for him, or if other teams are interested, seeing like like what they're talking about. Unless there's like one guy that like really feels that like they can turn this guy around or something. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I agree. I agree with you. The way you treat your commodity, like think about it from a fantasy football perspective. If you want to trade away a player, what do you do? What do you do? Let's say you want to trade away Michael Pittman. And I'll get to this in a second. A lot of people are spreading rumors that Michael Pittman potentially could be the player that's being named in the investigation for betting on football or betting on. We'll get to that in a second. Some wagering activities. It might not even be football. But somebody in Indianapolis might be in trouble like Ridley and be suspended. Like we're gonna find out. And we don't know if it's Ridley or if it's gonna be more along the lines of Jameson Williams. Was he betting on sports activities on the we'll get into that in a second. Pervasive wagering activities. We'll get into that in a second. But let's say you're trying to get rid of Pittman. What do you do with your fantasy football roster when you're trying to get rid of Pittman? You put him in your lineup. You set him in your lineup and you go make trade offers because you want people to look at your roster and see he's in your lineup. If you put him on your bench and then you start sending trade offers out, what are you telling everybody that you're trying to trade with? That you don't care about Pittman, that he shouldn't be in your lineup. He's not even lineup worthy, and you're asking people to buy him from you. It's all a negotiation tactic. And if you're literally wanting, apparently they did want to potentially trade him. They were open-minded to it at least. They didn't even come out and say, yeah, he's a starter. This guy's a starter. I don't even know who's going to be our starter. If Purdy comes back healthy, it's going to be an open competition, and both of these guys should be a number one quarterback. They could be a number one quarterback for any team in this league, and we got two of them. He could have said something like that, and he didn't. They said, hey, what about Ayuk? Is he available for trade? No way, bro. We wouldn't trade Ayuk for anything. What about Trey Lance? The right offer came along. We like our guys. We like Trey Lance and this team, but we'd listen. We'd listen. Then people say, oh, they're just doing their due diligence, Smitty. You're always going to listen. No, they wouldn't listen for Ayuk. They wouldn't listen for other players. They've verbally said, no, we're not going to trade those guys. We don't know what you're talking about. Oh, but Trey, we would consider trading Trey if the right offer came along. But then they treat him the way they treat him on the roster. To your point, Scuba, how are you going to get a team to come in and say, well, this is your cellar dweller player? Why are we going to give you the world for him when you won't even start him over Sam Darnold? You're going to split first team reps between Sam Darnold and Trey Lance while Brock Purdy, who can't even throw right now, is your presumed starter. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. It makes me, it bothers me. It bothers me tremendously. And I wish he'd get a shot. I don't think he will. And I don't think they're going to trade him. You know why I don't think they're going to trade him? Because Shanahan probably has a price tag that's out of this world anyway. Shanahan probably is expecting to get a first rounder back right now after he's kept him in the basement locked up, unable to throw passes. Nobody knows what he's going to be able to do. And Shanahan's going to ask for a first rounder? I bet you he would. And he probably wouldn't get it.
Yeah. I mean, the only other thing that I could think that might, I guess, like, it could be a attractive selling point is just the fact that this guy's still on his rookie deal. And, I mean, like, his, like, real money or whatever doesn't have to, like, his, like, big, like, contract, like, when he's due, it isn't going to have to kick in for, like, 2 years. If that guy even has a chance to even get that type of a contract. So, I mean, I think that'd be, like, the only thing. If somebody's, like, trying to be, get under the cap or something, then maybe. But I don't know, man. I agree with you. I mean, unless, like, a team like the Minnesota Vikings or something, like, if they don't really believe in Kirk Cousins, they want a backup plan or something, see if they could get something for this guy and just to see what happens.
Let me also talk about this Matt Mayoko, which you also referenced that I want to allude to here.
All right.
Is this is a guy we trust in? This guy? Is this the guy we're trusting? Matt Mayoko? Really? This is the guy we're trusting? This is the same guy. Okay. This is the Niners, beat reporter leader. This is the leader of the Niners beat reporters. This is their leader. This is who the entire Niner fan base looks up to. And this is the same guy that said this ridiculous statement. NBC Sports' Matt Mayoko Mayako, whatever the hell his name is, believes Sam Darnold might be the most talented thrower in 49er history. 49er history. This is your leader. This is your leader. Niner fans, speak up right now. This is your leader. This is your beat reporter leader, the guy leading this story off. I don't even know if I can trust the story now. I don't know if this is true, where it says Matt Mayoko believes Brock Purdy will start week 1 for the 49ers. He is ready to play football, or if he is ready to play football when the season rolls around. I don't know if I can believe a single thing moving forward. Sam Darnold might be the most talented thrower in 49ers history. Wow. Wow. Did he forget we've had Steve Young, Joe Montana?
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, Smitty, not only that, but like to your point, this guy says that he's like one of the greatest throwers. Now we don't even know if Brock Purdy can throw. So it just seems like the reports are all over this place. You say that this guy's like a great thrower. This guy, Brock Purdy, that he's talking about, who might not even be ready, probably doesn't even have his full arm strength. You're saying that this guy's going to be the leader now?
How is he going to be the leader
in 49er history?
How is Purdy going to beat the best thrower in 49er history? How is Brock Purdy going to beat out Sam Darnold, who, according to Matt Mayoko, it might just be the most talented thrower in 49er history? How does this guy have a shot? He doesn't have a shot before he began. He's done. How is he gonna fight off this man who's better than Joe Montana and Steve Young and everybody that's ever come after him before? Unbelievable. I can't believe this hasn't been talked about more, that he said this. I can't believe this guy hasn't been like dethroned at this point as the leading, sports guy for the Niner fan base. Like, this is crazy, bro. This is the weirdest thing I've ever heard in my life. Okay.
No, I mean, I agree. I know that you have to be on the team's payroll, but I mean, at some point, I feel like that's like too overselling it, man.
Yeah. Hey, hold on one second there, pal. Let me get into this real quickly. So, according to a few different reports, an unnamed Colts player is under investigation for wagering activities. The NFL is investigating an unnamed Colts player for possibly violating the league's gambling policy. There are a lot of rumors swirling around that it was Michael Pittman, and I don't know. There's no way to substantiate those rumors. So I think everybody needs to back off on who it is. Some people are throwing AR-15 out there, just trying to stir the pot. We don't know who it is yet. We have no clue. If we go into the Twitter comments, we have another report out, and somebody's reporting that it's Michael Pittman. But we'll have to see. It could be that he's suspended for 2023-2024, which would be great for Josh Downs, who I think is going to be the number one wide receiver there. But we'll have to see if this is true. I'm looking into it right now as we're live. Andrew Luck, I'm afraid. these Twitter comments, they are always undefeated. We're looking into it. I don't know that there's a lot of fake reporting around this right now, and it doesn't seem to be JT, but no one knows. It could be any one of the Colts players, but there are a lot of people throwing out a bunch of like memes, and I think a lot of people are taking the memes seriously, and we got to wait for the factual reporting to come in before we start assuming that it's one of these people replicating in the memes. I got how many people message me a day with some sort of fake meme news? Like, guys, stop that. You don't think I look into this? I people that send me that fake Adam Schefter. He catches about 1 to 2, 3 people every week, and somebody comes in and quotes something. Smitty, look at this! Look at this! I'm like, bro, look at who that's from. It's from a meme account. Like, stop it. So we gotta pump the brakes on it being Pittman. It could be Pittman. We're hearing a lot of it's Michael Pittman. He could be out for an entire season. But we don't know. It's not. It's nothing's confirmed yet. We have no idea. Just that the NFL's investigating an unknown Colts player, and we don't even know if it's an offensive player. We have no clue. It could be AR-15. It could not be. It could be a defensive player. It could not be. It could be the center. It could be the kicker. It could be anybody. We have no idea. It could be a non-starter. So hang tight while we await that. But there is an investigation on an unnamed Colts player for possible violations, possible being the key word, allegedly being another key word, violating the league's gambling policy. And if I look into the ESPN report, I can even have the ESPN report. Let's have it let's have it read for a second and let's go into it. So this is the report so far. Hang tight for me, Scuba. I don't know if this is going to read it too fast.
The team acknowledged the inquiry Monday, saying in a statement, "We are aware of the NFL's investigation and will have no further comment at this time." The news comes after a report by SportsCenter.com, which cited an investigation into.
That's way too fast for you guys. That's how I read back all my all my news in rapid speed. But let me find a clip here and we'll look at it this way. But yeah, I don't know. I think everyone needs to pump the brakes. We don't know if it's Michael Pittman. We'll get back to it. Let's get back to this report. Let's get back to Trey Lance, and we'll talk about that at the 7 p.m. show. And we probably have more information on the Colts situation because we could break it right now, but there's nothing to break. We don't even know who it is. All right. So Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, according to Matt Maiocco, he might just be the most talented thrower in 49er history. I don't know how Purdy's going to beat him out. I don't know how anybody's going to beat this guy out. This guy, Sam Darnold, sounds like a monster. If I'd woke up from a 15, 20-year coma and I read this report, I would think this guy was the next Tom Brady, this Sam Darnold character. If let's say Trey Lance was traded, where would you want him to go? Where could he go? Some people throwing out a hilarious Las Vegas so he can play with Jimmy G. But where would he go? Would Atlanta? I don't think Atlanta would go after him because Atlanta doesn't want to piss off Ritter. I hear Ritter gets really mad really easily, and they don't want to rock the boat at all. They don't want to have any kind of backup plan for Ritter because Ritter will get pissed off. I don't know. Throw out a couple locations. I don't think Arizona has any interest in their interdivision anyway, but if they don't believe in Trey Lance, they wouldn't care about trading him interdivision because they'd be sending over a Trojan horse to blow up the whole thing in their mind, right? Because they don't believe in Trey. But if Arizona wouldn't be interested even if the Niners wanted to trade him because the Arizona Cardinals are either going to stick behind Kyler or they're going to go after this number 1 overall pick to get Caleb Williams. Titans, Love Stars is a good possibility. Miami is another good possibility. I mean, toss them out. It just doesn't seem like Shanahan's capable of trading him because guess what? His asking price is going to be the moon. The Washington Commanders, it's interesting. Scott, there's no way the Carolina Panthers. Scott, they just drafted Bryce Young, bro. They just drafted Bryce Young. What are they going to go after a young quarterback and have to give up high draft capital for him? Scott, come on, Scott. Take off your Niner goggles for 5 seconds, Scott. I appreciate you, though, Scott. You know I appreciate you. Raiders,
hey, Trey,
yeah.
Do you think that the Miami Dolphins would look into him? I mean, they're trying to grab everybody. That trader Mike would try to go after him?
Yeah, I just read that off. Yeah, Miami's is certainly an option. The only problem with Miami is that they're making it seem like they believe in Tua. I don't know that they want to send that message right now. And they also, have Mike White, and so they would be compiling like a crowded, clogged up QB room, and I think anybody that's going to trade for Trey Lance, if they, unless they get him dirt cheap, and the Niners sell him dirt cheap, but I think the Niners will only sell him for at least moderate value. I don't think a team's going to trade for him unless they are going to put him in there to compete to start at least. You know what I mean? But you never know. You never know.
I mean, I was just thinking that could be a good landing spot. Like especially if it's like even just almost like an insurance policy in case if something does happen to Tua. Because I know they do have Mike White, but you never know. It could be a good resurgence for Trey Lance too, because they'll have Tyreek Hill and they'll have a stacked offense over there.
Well,
might end up being a good thing for them.
Logically, it makes sense. Like we've talked about that before in the show, that Miami would be a great place. But again, though, what message are you sending to Tua? So, like, I think Miami Mike ultimately wouldn't do it. Now, if Tua goes down, let's say even before week 1, suffers a concussion in practice, and then they go, God, he's going to get concussed, and he starts to realize this isn't going to work, because it's not a matter of if, it's when for me. I really think, and I say this with a heavy heart, I'm not rooting against Tua. I hope I'm dead wrong, but it's not a matter of if, it's just when he has another concussion. And if he goes down, let's say before week 1, then you have Miami Mike picking up the phone and saying, hey, send him on over. And I could see it happening. But I think right now, I don't know that that's the message Miami Mike is going to send. Keep in mind he had no interest in Lamar. It appeared, even though they didn't have a first-round pick, they still didn't seem to have interest in, when the draft passed, that they would go after and send an offer sheet out after the NFL draft when they could participate in that. Didn't seem like he's interested in going away from Tua at all. So hard to imagine him giving up serious draft capital to get a player that's going to be the backup. I think if Tua suffers injury, boom. And would I do it if it was me? Absolutely. I'd go get Trey Lance right now if I'm Miami Mike. I just don't know that he's going to. I don't think he's going to. Hey, hang tight real quick. Scuba. Dakota Dave just left. I was going right over to here. He's calling in again. Dakota Dave, you're live.
Yeah. The Niners' behavior is just classic, can't admit a mistake, because they're going to have to get less than they gave up. It's no different than someone who buys a stock and will refuse to sell it a little lower. And people do that all the time. And here that's in their private life. So in their public life, they don't want to do it. And, in the management there, many people probably are thinking they're going to lose their job, so this way they can just go along without, locking in a loss.
Yeah. It's so funny. I don't think, hopefully Shanahan doesn't have the final say anymore about everything, and I truly believe that actually might be the case now. I think a lot of people, look, Shanahan hired John Lynch. Shanahan, the head coach, hired the GM, which is awkward. And I think there's a little bit of a power, not struggle, but like a dominance of the situation where Shanahan was calling the shots. And I think that it feels like, and what I've heard from people I trust, that John Lynch has a little more power and is at least utilizing a little more power than he used to as he's getting more comfortable in his role. And I've heard on good authority that Christian McCaffrey deal was more John Lynch than it was Kyle Shanahan. I don't know that to be a certainty. I only have the little birdies that talk to me in my ear, but I feel very confident that those little birdies are pretty accurate. So I believe that that John Lynch was a big reason that McCaffrey deal got done. I believe John Lynch might force some things to happen that maybe Shanahan doesn't want to happen or that wouldn't have happened before. So could I see the Niners selling Trey for a reasonable price now to get the situation out of the locker room? Yeah. Could I see them also saying, hey, we had bad luck with quarterbacks last year. We like Trey Lance, and if he's forced to start, we'll make it work. I could also see him taking that approach, but that's just unfortunate for Trey Lance. And it does make you, like you said, Dakota Dave, not admit you're wrong. They're not admitting they're wrong. They're not admitting they're wrong, and they can't get out of this situation without, getting probably, I'm sure his expectations, multiple first rounders. I think it's probably what Shanahan expects. So, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to play out for Trey. I don't think it'll play out good for Trey. You want me to tell you why? When has anything played out good for him? I just can't see it turning good for him. I just can't. Unfortunately, that might be a pessimistic view for me, but I do not see things turning around for him in a positive way. It's only been downhill for him, spiraling out of control, Just horrible set of circumstances. And unfortunately for him, unless he is somehow able to escape San Francisco and get somewhere where he can reset his confidence level, have a coach that believes in him like Dable. Dable would have been perfect if, let's say, Danny Dimes ended up going elsewhere and they needed to get a quarterback. I'd love to see Dable mold Trey Lance. But past a situation like that, I don't know that anything's going to happen. I don't think anything's going to happen. I think there's no way a team offers a first rounder. There's no way the Niners, if Shanahan has anything to do with it, will accept less than a first rounder. And so we're sitting here in just Trey Lance limbo. And I don't think it's going to change. Thomas from Seattle, you're live.
Hey, what's up, Smitty?
What's up?
Hey, I just had a Dynasty question real quick. It's my first year doing Dynasty. It's a 12-man league. I'm picking from the 1.12, and the team with the 1.6 put the trade on the block. I'm just trying to see how I can move up.
Well, I don't like moving up to the 1.6 unless I'm guaranteed to get, like, Bijan.
But my whole process, or my thought was thinking get up or move up to get, like, a top quarterback or something, like a T-Law.
Oh, you're in a Superflex. I'm sorry. I didn't hear that part.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, my bad. Yes.
Yeah, Superflex for sure. You want a top 6 pick guaranteed. So what can you trade? Can you give up a future first rounder to move up? I guess I would try not to give up your 12 pick. I would try and give up a first rounder and then your second rounder to get that top pick. But would I trade to get Burrow? I don't know about, I like T-Law. You know how much I like T-Law. But this move requires a Burrow, in my opinion, a Burrow or a Josh Allen. If you could get up and grab a T-Law, that's good. But if you can get up and grab a monster like Joe Burrow, boom, that's easy. That's an easy work.
I want to say the 1.3 is on the block as well. But I was looking at the 106. I just threw something together like, I don't know, like this year's is 5.12 and next year's first round. I don't know. Like I said, I'm new to this, so I'm just throwing stuff out there.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a big difference. Like I just don't know that I want you getting rid of like a second rounder, a third rounder to make that happen. Would I give up a future first rounder? I would, because if your team's a monster, you're giving up like the 10, 11, the 12 overall in the rookie draft. And I'm okay with doing that. If you give up your second round pick, no. Don't give up anything in the like top 3 rounds or even 4 rounds, because those picks will help you. Those picks will help you build an amazing team right now. You're 12, 10, 9. You got to assume you're going to have a late first rounder. It won't be what's helping you, create a
what I was saying. And that's what I said. Maybe offer them like this year's 5.12 and a first round next year.
5.12 and a first. I'd rather just give the first. 5.12 first rounder and your 12 overall though.
No, just my 5.
Your 5th rounder and your first round.
5.12. Just my 5.12 for this year and next year's first round.
I'd smash that, but I don't think he'll do that. I would give up the 4th rounder. I'd give up the 3rd rounder to do that. What I'm saying is I wouldn't give up the 12 and an additional pick. So if you're just moving up, because your question was moving up. So if you're moving from 12 to 3, I'm not giving a second, a third, a fourth, or anything like that. If you're keeping your 12 overall and you're actually moving your 5th rounder up and not your 12th overall pick, that's a whole different ballgame. I give the 5th and a first rounder in a millisecond. I give a 4th rounder and a first rounder in a millisecond. I'd probably give a 3rd rounder and a first rounder of the future in a millisecond for the number 3 overall pick.
All right, well, give me something to offer that I don't get laughed at. You know what I'm saying? Just something I can throw out there. I'm not trying to get complicated or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess try the. What do you guys think? Dakota David Scuba. What should he throw out? I mean, is it laughable to say? I think it is laughable to say 3rd round pick. You're moving down to the 3rd round, and then
say, by the way, this is like a tight end premium. I know you don't like all that shit, but it's not my choice, and I don't know if that comes into play or whatever.
I mean, what do you guys think? Start with a third rounder and a future first for the number 3 overall? I don't think he's getting it, but I mean, that should be good, right? That's not overpaying.
I mean, I'd go for the number 6 too if I can get T-Law. Like I said, I'm good for either way.
What do you guys think, Thomas and Scuba? Hello?
And nobody's helping. Nobody's there.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here, Smitty. What was the trade? I can let you
No,
know.
never. Scuba, I can't wrap it up for you. Chat, what do you think, chat? Let him know what you think. What's the best offer he should send out? Let's go over to I'll swing back around, Thomas, in a second. Let's go over to Alan. Alan, you're live, Alan.
I'm just listening to this. You gotta at least give a second. Otherwise, it's laughable.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Go second and
though,
first.
Is you could turn your 112 into 2 seconds maybe. You got to just kind of trade back one to get one up. That's not a bad idea. To get more equity in the draft, start off to get that first round. But the third round pick that's Hurts. That's
Yeah.
That's Burrow. That's top quarterback.
I agree. I think you probably do this. You probably give up. Let me just keep these boxes here. So you probably offer your.
Keep it simple for me, Smitty.
You what?
I just said
You what?
I keep it simple with me. Keep it simple with me.
So here's your 12 pick right here. I would give up your second. Well, your second's a high second though. That's the only problem. But that's all right. Give your second and a future first for the number 3. Do not do that for the number 6.
Okay.
I wouldn't do that for the number 6. I mean, I'd contemplate it, but I would try working this other angle. But that is a high pick to give still. But I would move it up if I'm getting the 3. If I'm getting the 6, it doesn't feel quite as powerful. But yeah, I'm very much a person that I suppose I would trade this down for a second and a third, potentially this number 12 or this number 13. But it just depends on if you have to give anything else back. But I do love trading down more than I love trading up these days. In a super flex, I do love trading up. But it depends on if I can mortgage the future, which I believe will be not worth a lot if I'm building a really good team. I'll mortgage the future first rounders to try and build the squad from the draft. But I'm definitely not in the business of giving up like a second or third or a second and a fifth rounder to get a first rounder, because that second rounder and fifth rounder are going to be really, really valuable. So get rid of the future first rounder with one of the picks to get the higher the 3 overall.
I've also been doing like mocks from obviously the 1.12, and I've been practicing I've been practicing late round QBs. I've been going obviously if Bijan's there, I highly doubt it, but whatever. I'm going like a Garrett Wilson and a Lamb, and then I'm trying to get like a Love late, or get like a Pickett and Pickens.
I mean, even if you stayed put, bro, just saying, if you did stay put, and you probably will get Bijan here. He's definitely falls there a lot. Because so if you get Bijan, and let's say you were so lucky to get
Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, even I've seen believe it or not, I've seen Jamar Chase fall there, or JJ. It happens. It just depends. But yeah, if you got Garrett Wilson, then you just have to really be very good at grabbing at least one quarterback. But you're going to have to cultivate your quarterback room differently than you would have. I don't want you just forcing a Danny Dimes or doing that. I would want you to go with the old dogs. Get a Jordan Love, who's not old, but get Jordan Love and couple him with an old dog like Aaron Rodgers. And you might shock yourself as to who might be available in these rounds right here in 3, 4, and 5. But you could also screw the pooch and have a completely awful team because you have no quarterbacks if your group drafts quarterbacks in a crazy fashion. But because it's tight end premium as well, I'm guessing that the quarterbacks fall a little bit better than a normal non-tight end premium, because the tight end premium is going to bump the tight ends up as well. So tough to say, bro. All right, hey.
Just real quick, can I read off like the first 6 picks I just did in a mock just to see how you think, real quick?
All right, hurry.
That's just so I went Bijan and Garrett Wilson. I went Watson, London, DeAndre Swift, Then I went Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, Jaha Dotson, Sam Howell.
Say it again. Read it off real quickly.
So I went Bijan, Garrett Wilson, Christian Watson, Drake London. I don't even know if this would really happen. But then I got DeAndre Swift. Then I went Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, Jaha Dotson, and Sam Howell.
I like it. I think it would kill. I think it would crush. But I don't think you're going to get both those quarterbacks quite as late in a real draft. So you got to maybe maneuver those up a little bit. All right, hang tight for me. Let's go over to Alan. Alan, you're live. D. Philly dropped off. Alan, you're live.
Hey, how you doing, Smitty? I wanted to call back with an update. So the Jonathan Taylor trade I talked about last year for the 102 this year, I caused some panic in the league, threatened to take Gibbs, and ended up making 2 additional trades. So Jonathan Taylor is still gone, but now I have 4 picks in the 2024 first round, one of which is almost guaranteed to be either the 101 or the 102.
Okay, I'm a little confused on. I don't remember what it was all about, but you traded Gibbs?
I traded away Jonathan Taylor last week. I called in, and I got 3 first rounds. The first round, the 102 this year, first round in 2024, and a first round in 2025.
Okay.
And you told me instead of Anthony Richardson, Gibbs would be your target sitting at the 102 this year.
Yeah.
That got me 3 additional picks next year.
By threatening that, you mean?
Just by threatening it, yeah. So I ended up letting Gibbs go or letting the 102 go for 3 first rounds, 2 of which are going to be in the top 3 for sure.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't.
The worst 2 teams.
I don't think it's awful. At all. I mean, obviously, it could turn out to be really, really good for you, but I do love Gibbs so much that I don't know. I don't know if I could have done it. I want Gibbs and Bijan so badly, and I know that the next draft we're going to be excited, and at the end of the day we'll have to see what picks you get. But let's say you only get the 3rd, the 5th, and the 6th overall, which would all be very high picks, sum total. Then I wouldn't like it. But that's me. Just because I love Gibbs and I love Bijan that much, like I'd give up 3 first rounders I'd give up a 1.5 right now, 2 additional future first rounders for Gibbs, and I wouldn't bat an eye. But that's me.
I'm looking forward. I'm hoping to Caleb.
Yeah, we'll see what you end up with, and it could end up being pretty good for you. Real quickly, hold on. Overcome dropping a super chat. Overcome to the moon. Appreciate you.
To the moon.
Pal, Overcome, you're still here, right? Overcome says Mixon running back 2. Cuff him, and then maybe I'm definitely not drafting him as my RB2, but could he be one for one more year? Certainly, if he can stay healthy. But I personally would rather have Mixon and Chase Brown together than have just Mixon, because then I'd feel a little more comfortable. But I'm not drafting him in many leagues at all, but I think he certainly could be a running back 2 for one more year. It's definitely possible. Garrett says Ron Navy was cheating with another show, dropping a super chat. That's okay, Garrett. My 2 highest super chatters of the year can't really cheat on me when they're dropping 2 of the highest super chatters of the year, Garrett. So shame on you for telling on your pal Ron Navy. Take a lap for telling on him. But Garrett is the highest super chatter of the year in a single live stream, and he's got his own emoji. So if all of you would drop that emoji, I would appreciate it for Garrett. Thank you. Where are we at? Space Ricky says, I don't draft running backs under 200 pounds, period. Space Ricky, get in all my leagues ahead of me in the first round of a rookie draft, please, so that Gibbs can fall to me. Gibbs is going to be a top 7 overall player next year. I think Gibbs is a top 10 overall player next year. I think Bijan goes number 1 overall. Gibbs is in the top 10. JR dropping a super chat. I've completed or am in 30+ underdog drafts. Smitty, I'll drop more super chats after we win this. Appreciate you, JR. JR to the moon.
To the moon.
All right, let's circle back around on the phone lines here. We've got Scuba Steve. What else you got?
I guess I was just gonna say when you're talking about like the the Indianapolis stuff, I was just gonna try to make a joke and just say how funny would it have been if it was Matt Ryan and that's why he retired.
Matt Ryan, maybe. Yeah. I think people are assuming. We'll be back on the 7 p.m. show on this topic. Let me pull it up real quickly. We can have the I can have it read real quick. Here's the report.
Hey.
Hang tight. Let me just read this report off real quick. So this is from ESPN. Hold on. This is from ESPN.
Indianapolis. The NFL is investigating an Indianapolis Colts player for possible violations of the league's gambling policy. The team acknowledged the inquiry Monday, saying in a statement, "We are aware of the NFL's investigation and will have no further comment at this time." The news comes after a report by SportsHandle.com, which cited an investigation into a Colts player's pervasive betting, including wagers placed on his own team. The player was not named in the report, nor did team officials reveal his identity. An NFL spokesperson, when asked by ESPN for comment on the report, said in a text message that they had nothing to add. The Indiana Gaming Commission confirmed to ESPN that it had received information pertaining to this matter and was following developments. The IGC is not the lead agency on this matter, as it involves alleged violations of a league policy at this point. Jenny Resk, deputy director at the Indiana Gaming Commission, wrote in an emailed statement to ESPN, "We will, however, continue to review information as it emerges to determine what, if any, regulatory actions are necessary."
Last two paragraphs.
In April, the NFL suspended 5 players, including 4 from the Detroit Lions for gambling policy violations. Lions receiver Quintez Cephas and safety C.J. Moore, as well as Washington Commanders defensive end Shaka Toney, were suspended indefinitely for betting on NFL games. Lions receivers Jamison Williams and Stanley Berryhill received 6-game suspensions for betting on non-NFL games from an NFL facility. Cephas, Moore and Berryhill were later released by Detroit. Last year, then Atlanta Falcons receiver Calvin Ridley was suspended for the entire 2022 season for betting on NFL games over a 5-game stretch when he was away from the team. He was traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars at the trading deadline last November and reinstated in March.
And then the final little tiny...
Although the NFL has widely embraced sports betting and has sponsorship deals with sports books, the league explicitly prohibits players from betting on NFL games. Players are also prohibited from placing bets while at NFL facilities.
So that is the entire ESPN article. That is the most up-to-date information that's really out there. Everything else is speculation. And so at the 7 p.m. show, we will definitely be updating people. D. Philly.
To the moon.
$10 holler. D. Philly, appreciate you, my man. D. Philly may have a question attached to that. Let me just see if he does. I don't see it. D. Philly, if you have a question or you want to call in, appreciate you dropping that super chat. D. Philly to the moon. D. Philly, you still here? Appreciate you, pal. Steven, why don't the Lions, not why doesn't, Steven? Use proper grammar here. Why don't the Lions play David Montgomery for 3 years worry you? Why didn't the Lions play David Montgomery for 3 years worry you? Steven, what am I reading here? Goal line back? Question mark? I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't even know what we're saying here, Steven. I don't even know what we're trying to say. If you're trying to say, why doesn't the Lions playing David Montgomery for 3 years worry you? Goal line back? I don't even know what this says. Let's see if we have it read. Maybe it makes more sense. Here.
Stephen FL, why doesn't the Lions paying David Montgomery for 3 years worry you? Goal line back?
I don't know, Steven. He's not the goal line back. He probably is the goal line back. I'm just joking with you, Steven. He probably is the goal line back, but do you think they're not going to use their number 12 overall pick near the goal line as well? Don't you think they're going to throw the football to him near and around the end zone? Don't you think they're going to do a draw play, Steven? Don't you think they're going to just do like some draw play at the 5-10 yard line and this kid Gibbs is going to get 2 or 3 goal line touchdowns and Monty gets 6, 7. Like, Monty's not getting 17 touchdowns, Steven. It's not going to happen. But, no, it doesn't concern me. Number one, Steven, they have nothing to do with each other. He said paying. Oh, I might have read it wrong. I'm yelling at him, and I think I got it wrong. Both running backs are a great system of running backs, says Jeremy W. They are. Look, Monty could have 900 to 1,000 yards and 6 or 7 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? Steven gets harassed. We love Steven in here. Steven's one of our boys. We love him. Let me see if the phone line's calling. Marsman Ron's calling in. Marsman Ron.
Snitches get stitched.
Yeah, Garrett's snitching on you. Scuba Steve, what else you got?
Just about this DeAndre Hopkins stuff. I mean, it seems like this guy. I mean, I don't even know if anybody wants him. I mean, the guy's been released for a while. We kept hearing like reports that at first that somebody was going to trade for him, and now it seems like it's cooled down that this guy's might not be getting picked up. I mean, first it was he might go to Buffalo and Kansas City, and then now it seems like he's open to going back to like the Houston Texans or like the Cleveland Browns or something. I mean, I thought it would have made sense if the Ravens would have picked him up. So I was going to ask you what you would have thought about that, like for Lamar. But I mean, like, it seems like this is all over the place. I have no idea where this guy's going.
I think that he's going to be more open to these other landing spots that aren't necessarily a place to go chase a ring when he doesn't get the offers that he's expecting, which it doesn't sound like he's going to get. So I'll probably say, like, you know, is he more likely to go to Cleveland or Houston now more so than I thought? Absolutely. I did not expect this to be not a complete just go get Hopkins race where everybody's just racing to get this guy on the roster. Just racing. You know, who's going to get there I can't even hear myself. Who's got all that background noise? What do you got, a laundromat? Who is that? That D Philly? D Philly, where are you at?
Hey,
you in a restaurant? What's going on?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, hold on. D Philly, hold on a second. You can ask your question after Marsman Wayne Solo asks his question. Marsman Wayne, what's up, pal?
Well, I don't really have a question. I was just commenting on the Hopkins news. I would just say that probably just be patient. You know, he's probably just looking at all his options right now. He's going to sign somewhere.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's not a doubt about him signing, but I think that it felt like it was going to be a race to get him between KC and Buffalo, and frankly, it should have been. It's one of those things where it's like head scratching. But now that he doesn't have it, appears to be that crazy market that we thought would probably be there. And it definitely will open up. There haven't been that many days that have passed, but it doesn't sound like we're not hearing anything that makes it sound like KC and Buffalo are racing to get him. It sounds like KC's comfortable with Kadarius Toney. Buffalo, I don't know why the hell they wouldn't want to go get DeAndre Hopkins. I'm glad they won't, though, because I want Kincaid to be the number 2 wide receiver. But certainly feel like this is one of those situations where, yeah, he could end up in Houston, he could end up in Cleveland, and that's something I didn't really expect. But, you know, he's going to pick what he can pick. He's going to take the biggest amount of money that mixes the best with the vibe he has, you know, he's feeling. Like, I think I don't think he ultimately goes back to Houston. I think that's, you never know. I think Cleveland feels more likely at this point. And then we got to look at Deshaun Watson a little bit differently. I agree. But I still don't know that I believe Deshaun Watson's above like T. Law or Lamar. But he's certainly climbing closer if he gets DeAndre Hopkins. Because, I mean, Watson's best days were with Hopkins. And to get him back, that would certainly help him reset. And I think he's in a place where he's trying to prove himself. And he's trying to get himself, you know, back on track. And if you give him Hopkins some familiarity, and you also, you know, just make that offense that much better. It's going to make things easier for him. So it would be a good location for Deshaun Watson, that's for sure. Do I think that with Amari Cooper there and the way that I don't know if it's Hopkins' best location, but I think he certainly produces really good numbers. I just don't know how if they're going to be close to what they used to be. Ziggy, show me the front door. We got a possible, either the mailman or a possible intruder. Let's see what this is. Mailman. Ziggy off. Boy, he's peeling out there. Let's go over to D Philly real quick. And then if you got another question, Marsman, just interrupt and let us know. D Philly, what do you got? You can unmute yourself from your very loud location.
All right, buddy. I just got done playing golf, so
how'd you do?
Playing music over here.
How'd you do?
I shot a 44.
Okay, good job, pal. Good job. What do you got for me?
Okay, this is a very important question. If you're on the clock and you got Jalen Hurts, and your next pick is between Devonta Smith and Chris Olave, but you have Hurts, who are you taking?
Is it best ball?
Yeah.
I'm taking Olave. I'm not. That's one of those things where the stack isn't going to tempt me. I'm not stacking it just to stack. Give me Olave. Give me Olave. Olave's better. But I can understand why somebody will want to stack it. I totally get it. And it's a great stack. But Olave, I draft over Devontae Smith every single time. Every single time.
Damn. That's not good. I tried to get a hold of you. My phone died. And I was going to ask you real quick.
Well,
I picked Devontae.
Well, you didn't make a bad pick. I mean, the guy has a potential to be a top 10 wide receiver this year. And if A.J. Brown, who's got, bad knees, ends up missing significant time, guess what happens? Devontae Smith plays even better for that string of games. So you didn't make a mistake, but I'd rather have Olave. I think Olave's worth a top 18 overall pick with ease, and I think Devontae Smith is a fantastic third-round player. So you drafted a third-round player in the second round, or if you're in the second round, then you still got a third. You could have got a second-round player in the third round, but you didn't. You got a third-round player in the third round. I got
him at 3-3.
Okay, so you could have got a second rounder in the third round. You didn't, but you still got a really good third-round pick in the third round. So you just missed an opportunity potentially, but you got an amazing player right where he belongs. So not like you crapped the bed, but, and the stack is nice. But let me play something for you. Hang tight, callers. Hang tight.
A top 5 wide receiver hides among the people. His cost of entry is near illegal. Few see him coming. Many stay away. His name is Chris Olave.
Scott says, how about Trey to Arizona and then media? First of all, D Philly, appreciate your $10 hauler. I don't know if D Philly's still here. Deckard, appreciate your $2 hauler. Says, who is Ezekiel Elliott going to play for? Probably Dallas, if I had to guess, which is going to be crappy, but we'll see. I don't think he's got as much left in the tank, so I don't think it's going to be a big deal, but that kind of it's just going to be a negative thing, but maybe it drives his value down, drives Pollard's value down so much that it ends up being a positive thing. But Zeke is a real high likelihood of coming back because no one's going, hey, Zeke, come play for us. And so Dallas will probably bring him back for a small amount of money. Scott says, how about trade to Arizona? And media says, Scott, stop it now. Media, what in the hell? What the hell do you think gives you the right to say stop it now to Trey Lance being traded to Arizona, which I doubt they trade in a division unless they want to unravel the Cardinals. This is not going to happen. I'm not saying Scott's right. But what are you talking about? Your coach won't even use him. What do you mean stop it now? What on earth do you mean by that? Like, that's a ridiculous stop. That you use this tone when someone says something that's out of pocket, not realistic, not likely to happen. Scott, stop it now. As if Trey's some magical piece to your offense that you would never trade. It's like someone saying Debo's going to get traded. Oh, stop it now. He isn't getting traded nowhere. Scott said something that media didn't like because media wants Trey Lance to get a shot. But guess what, media? He's not going to get a shot. Not in San Francisco. Your coach refuses to believe in him, media. Guys, I'm gonna cycle you out the phone because I'm gonna be back here at 7 p.m. Scuba Steve, final 10 seconds. You got 10 seconds, and I'm hitting the disconnect button. Go. 7.
Just that I'll talk to you later on when you do the next show. See you, man.
Boom. Later, pal. Call tonight. Thomas, you got 9 seconds. Scuba Steve took one of yours. Go.
I was just want to say thanks for the suggestions for the trade offers. I guess I'll go with I guess I'll offer like a third and next year's first for the 103.
Good job, man. You got to judge 10 seconds better, Thomas. Yeah, Thomas, do that. Give up a second. Give up your second and a future first for that third, but only do the third. Philly, you got 8 seconds.
Okay, thanks, Smitty, for the advice. It was just a couple minutes too late, but my phone died.
Hey,
so,
yeah. Don't worry about it, pal. You
I think I'll still do all right.
Yeah, you'll do okay. All right, later, man. Carl, you got 12 seconds, even though you haven't talked yet.
Okay, hey there. I received 2 trade offers. I have so this guy wants Anthony Richardson, and he's offering literally Travis Kelsey, Trey Lance, and Hendon Hooker. Also, all those 3 for Anthony Richardson. What do you think?
Travis Kelsey,
should I just keep
Trey Lance, and Hendon Hooker for AR-15 in a super flex, I assume, right?
Correct.
I know that sounds like a great deal to you, and I can understand why it does, but Trey Lance, who knows what he is, bro? He might be a nothing burger, might be absolute zero. And it's not his fault, but that's what he's looking to be right now. Hendon Hooker, you have no idea what's in store for him. Kelsey, he's got 1 year left before we start having I'm having the uncomfortable conversation now. Not that I'm saying that he's going to bust or whatever, but I got a real uncomfortable feeling that either this year or next year is when that decline happens. And I don't think that's crazy at all. He's played a long time. So in a dynasty, I don't know. I think you gotta take the quarterback that it potentially could be a top 10. I mean, he's a top 10, 11 quarterback over in redraft right now. Like, people are drafting him as the QB 10. He's the QB 10 right now, bro. You know, and
another offer.
This I agree with.
Offer. I wonder if this makes things interesting. But okay, so Hendon Hooker, Travis Kelsey, Trey Lance, and also threw in Bijan for Anthony Richardson, Josh Downs, and my Jahmyr Gibbs. So would Bijan losing Gibbs, would that sway anything, or should I just stick with Gibbs and AR because they're damn good rookies?
Say that one more time.
Okay, so his offer is Hendon Hooker, Travis Kelsey, and Trey Lance, plus Bijan Robinson for my AR, Josh Downs, and Jahmyr Gibbs.
Okay, so you get to do this, you would trade Gibbs for Bijan, and you would get Kelsey. So you would get Bijan, Kelsey. I would do that.
Really, you would do this?
I would take, I love Gibbs, but I would take Bijan and Kelsey, Hendon Hooker, and Trey Lance, and I give up AR-15 and Gibbs. That is a different story. That's a whole different ballgame. That's a whole different ballgame. But I could understand somebody saying no to it. Like, I love Gibbs that much, but Bijan is special in a different way. So I would personally rather have Bijan. But that's more arguable. That's what I'm talking about. Like, that's a fun trade to discuss, and we could debate that all day long. But Bijan, Kelsey, you're winning the bag this year, I'd imagine. If you can't win the bag, if you get Bijan and Kelsey added to your team, then yeah, you probably shouldn't be doing the trade. Those are details you got to look at. But that is a
yeah, no, those two are different, Smokey.
I mean, you should, if you can't win the bag though, you got to make that determination whether you got to rebuild or not. But absolutely love. Yeah, Deckard says there's only 63. Well, there's 79 thumbs up and 150 40 of you in here. Punch that thumb up button. Deckard's correct. Part of me's tempted to just continue to go live through the 7 p.m. show. I don't know, because we're literally like,
Get your rest. We'll be back. Thank you.
Yeah, but hold on. Let's get a couple more votes on that one, because that's a debatable one. So hang tight. Let's go. Marsman Wayne, what do you think about that? Would you rather have AR-15, Gibbs, and I forget what other little pieces were in there, or would you rather have Bijan, Trey Lance, Hendon Hooker, Travis Kelsey?
I don't know. I guess it depends on what the rest of the roster looks like.
That's
probably go. I mean, if you really believe in Richardson, I would take the Richardson and Gibbs side, because there's a chance. There's a chance he's a top 5 quarterback here in like 3 years, or 2 years even.
I just
Should I go ahead and read my starting lineup?
Yeah, go ahead. Since we're gonna, I might just stay. I might just stay through the 4 p.m. show. I might not stay much past 4 p.m. I might just make this the 7 p.m. or the 7 p.m. show. It's 4 p.m. for me, but yeah. Without knowing the details, I'd say give me Bijan all day long. But let's give you the time of day here and let's see what you got. Go ahead.
Thank you. All right, so we got Jared Goff, Isaiah Pacheco, Jahmyr Gibbs, Christian Watson, Keenan Allen, Chris Olave. The tight end is Dawson Knox. Flexing Pollard, Stephon Diggs, and flex quarterback is Derek Carr.
Okay, so you got Olave. Give me the big dogs. You got Olave, Watson, Pollard,
Diggs. I have all 3 Kansas City running backs because of a video you made. And those are the big dogs, honestly.
So you'd have Goff, you'd have Carr, you'd have Kelsey.
Goff, Carr, AR.
Yeah, if you can't win the league with this team, I mean, it's a really good team. You could win it. You could win it all, I'd imagine. I mean, you're going to know. I don't want to go over every roster in your league, so you're going to have to make that determination on your own. But if you feel like this team's going to ball out comparatively to your other teams, the problem is if you don't do this trade, you are potentially going to get older, and you are potentially going to maybe fall behind and have Bijan and not be able to win with Bijan. So there is that concern. Like if we take this and we go, I'm not going to even get rid of those guys. I'm just going to say AR-15 added to that at the top. And then instead of Bijan, we go Gibbs. And then we take Kelsey out. I mean, that team, then you have the flip side issue where it's like you can kind of win now, but you're not gonna because you just took a lot off the board. But you have a better future potentially. And I still love Gibbs as a top 10 overall running back, top 5 to 10. So it's a good team. I mean, it's definitely a debate. I mean, let me just see what some of the comments are saying. Not good dynasty trade, in my opinion, says G. Bijan all day. Is this dynasty? Kelsey 1 to 2 years left, says Scott. You got a lot of riches to trade for a tight end. Bijan over Gibbs by a mile, says Space Ricky. I've never played dynasty. Actually, just got into football 3 to 4 years ago. Found Smitty and been loving ever since. Appreciate you, Deckard. It was said by a fake news account. Are you talking about the Pittman thing? Kelsey probably done after this year, says John. Scott says Gibbs. Gibbs side. Terry Roberts says Gibbs side. Taking Bijan with my 1.0. That's a nice story, Gabe. We're in the middle of a little discussion here. Appreciate you, Gabe. 146 in here, only 63 thumbs up. Actually, it's 85 now, but yes, I agree with him. I don't know. Bijan side says pure mustard. I'd say give me Bijan and Kelsey. Go win it for a couple years. Because Goff and Carr are still good enough. And you can cultivate that quarterback position. And who knows, maybe Trey Lance or Hooker turn into something. But I would still go buy low on like a Jordan Love. I would still try and scoop up a Sam Howell on the cheap. I would try and cultivate my QB room as I win with this team. But I think if you take AR-15 out, you take Gibbs out, you put Kelsey in, you put Bijan in, and you ride with these two quarterbacks who should have pretty good years. I mean, you're talking about top 10 quarterbacks. Like, even if they're like borderline top 10, those are two top 10 quarterbacks.
Yeah, thank you. And plus, I really do love the receivers here in Diggs, Olave, and Watson. So
yeah,
I kind of do like this trade because I do feel like Bijan and Kelsey are difference makers now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm feeling it.
Yeah. Hey, guys, I got to run. I'll come back at 7 p.m. Marsman, Purdue, final thoughts, bro.
Yeah, I would go with the Bijan.
Thanks, Carl.
And the Bijan side. But I'm also concerned that Richardson's running away with that hype train. I don't know about you, Smitty.
I think that there's some good reason to like him in the top 10, but there's also you pump the brakes when you're presented with this type of scenario, when you're saying, hey, you can get Kelsey for 1 to 2 years, which I have my concerns about, but not when you're upgrading Gibbs into Bijan. And I love Gibbs, so that says a lot about, Bijan. I would take this trade because Goff and Carr are going to compete with, AR-15, I think, this year. So, all right, Purdue, you got anything else before you can call on tonight too? But you got anything quick, like 10 seconds?
Yeah, no, just we've been saying Kelsey, when's the next year he's going to fall off? But with Mahomes, could be 2-3 years. He's still
you never know,
raking it in.
You never know. It. All right, call him tonight. Later, pal. Marsman Wayne, last final thoughts.
Yeah, looking at the board here, I say, probably stick with the Bijan side, but you have to win it. You have to win it. If you don't win and you give up Richardson
exactly
and a potential golf Gibbs stack, you're going to regret it. Probably.
And only he can know that.
He can win with that team.
Yeah, only he can know if that's going to win the league or not. Like, there might be somebody with a way better team. He needs to look at that. But, yeah, Carl, I'd do it. Give me the Bijan side. All right, Wayne, calling later. Appreciate you.
Later.
All right, guys, I'll be back later. Brock Purdy news. We'll talk about Pittman and the Colts situation later. Appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for all the super chats. Super chats right here. Super chats. We got D Philly dropping one. Deckard dropped these two right here. 49er Media. Stop it now. Says Deckard. Stop it, Media. Stop it. D Philly, thank you again for your $10 hauler. Overcome. Thomas dropping it. Thomas, appreciate you. Rock out. Overcome. Garrett, appreciate Garrett, even though he's telling on Ron Navy. And all of you guys rock. See you later tonight. I'll be back in, literally, like, it might be a little late. I might be delayed about an hour from now. We'll see. See you in an hour. Yeah, sorry, Thomas. I hung up on you and stayed longer. I'll take a lap. Appreciate you. Call him tonight, Thomas. Later, guys.